Read the passage given below. First paragraph. A bookshop is not something you find in every street or area these days. Books, which were once a permanent accompaniment for youngsters in their formative years, are fading out of their list of engagement. Second paragraph asks any youngster which is the latest book he has read, and he will be baffled. Apart from a few consistent readers, others just befool themselves with bookseller names or laments the curriculum loot for justifying themselves, like this 17-year-old school girl who says, I just read my physics book. Third paragraph. Television has been blamed for the calamitous situations which is producing square faced people and a bookless society. Furthermore, today's children are under pressures to be smart and popular and to succeed on a social level. Parties, dancing, and hanging out at different places began early. Moreover, computers, video games, the internet, swimming lessons, cricket, and a youngster passions for an hour long. TT on the telephone with friends eat off all their leisure time. Fourth paragraph. A child who is constantly under pressure to live up to his parents' expectations, which are at times unreasonable, does not like to throw himself into another set of books after the laborious school work unless he comes from a family of readers where the engrossing works of Shakespeare and Dickens are just a matter of pulling them out from the shelves. Fifth paragraph. Many parents also believe that today children have become more aware and demand logical reasonings for everything. They can no longer be fooled by fairy tales or animal stories, as they have not seen any fairies or animals except for those old and tired ones in the city zoo. This had made them more interested in movies or TV serials than a turtle talking to a rabbit or a frog changing into a prince. Sixth paragraph. But a visit to the capital reading bookstores presents a contrasting pictures of youngster reading habits. These bookshops claim they are doing healthy business and have many regular buyers from this age group. Seventh paragraph. Though the works of Shakespeare, Charles Dickens, Jane Austen, and Mark Twain no longer interest teenagers, bestsellers from Daniel Steele, Sidney Sheldon, and Jeffrey Archer are on the list of all reading teens. Self-help books such as those on personality development or relationships management are also picked up by many of them. 8th paragraph. Mystery books like Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys are popular with kids, and Mills and Bones and other romance novels with their fairly predictable formula with teenage girls for parents of children below 10, volumes of Panchatantra stories, Amar Chitra Katha, and other bedtime stories are worthy purchase, as they teach the child what is wrong in their own special way. What seems to be case is that parents have surrendered to others what was their most precious right, that of making their children what they should become. With the old technique of child rearing losing ground, modern parents much consciously spend time with their children. Taste and enthusiasm for literature can be communicated artfully to children by reading bedtime stories to them, encouraging them to play historical characters, and giving books as birthday gifts. Ninth paragraph. The family reading, which was once popular in the West, could well be adopted here. Reading aloud the works of great men by parents to their children not only forms a warm bond between them, but also attracts young minds to the world of books, which gives them a chance to explore the sea of life. Based on your understanding of the passage, answer any 8 of the 10 questions by choosing the correct options. Okay, the first question is choose the correct option that takes away the teenagers from reading good books. First is cinema, second is television, and C means drama, dance shows, and D means music programs. So the answer will be B, television. Second question is select the option that would suitably complete the given dialogues between parents and child as per the context in paragraph 5. Parents, why don't read the books that we bought you? All you do is to look at the television the entire day. Child, I don't. So the one will be dash parents again, and does the television provide you any logic to what you see? Child, yes, dash. So option given A, B, C, D. Option A will be want to read the books. Second, they do. And B means understand the logics behind those fairy tales. Second, the stories are realistic and well described through animation. C, want to exercise my mind thinking about the logic in them. To tell it. So D, like to read, and second means it makes my imagination vivid. So the correct answer will be understand means the child says I don't understand the logics behind those fairy tales. The stories are realistic and well described through animation. So the correct answer will be the B. Then third third question is the passage uses a French word tt. So this refers to option 1 is making group calls, option B is bad mounting peoples behind them, and C is having an argument, D is having a private conversations with two people. So the correct answer will be the D, that is having a correct conversation with two people. So that will be the B, a private conversation between two peoples. Okay, now select the correct image of the activity that was once popular in the West. Okay, so that option will be, this will be given for A and this will be given for B. The first is the family sitting on the table, and another one is the driving the car, the whole family, they were in the car, and third is same as 4. So the correct option will be the C, option C. Then fifth, select the correct hobby the youngster used to possess before and the one they possess today. So first is given option A is before watching television, now today reading books, and B option given before reading poetry and today reading novels, and C is given before reading books today watching television. So the correct option will be C, before reading books now watching television. Next question, what is the relationships between 1 and 2? Okay, so 1 given children have become more logic demanding, and 2 is children prefer watching televisions to reading fairy tales. Okay, so the correct option will be A, so one is the cause of two. Okay, one is given children have become more logic demanding, and two is children's prefer watching television or reading fairy tales. Okay, so B means two elaborates the affirmation of one, and C means two is the reason behind one, and D means one is advice for two. So the correct options will be the A. One is the cause of two, because children are demanding a logic, and the television provides them. And the next question, based on information given in the basis, select options that describe the cause of children ignoring books. You have to tell means why they ignore the books. So they find them uninteresting. Option 1 given. Option B is they are more addicted to online entertainment. Option C is they laments the curriculum road. Option D means they don't have patience to read books. The option that this the correct option will be the A, that is they find them uninteresting. They find books uninteresting. So that's the option. So that will be the A. Next, select the option that lists the importance of reading for writers. Okay, so A is warms the bond between parents and children, attracts young minds to the world of books, a chance to explore the sea of life. So that will be option A. B means bring harmony among people, create calms, keep people busy. So this will be the wrong. This you can give this way. And C is makes people look trendy, learn something new, a chance to revive selves. They means create huge burden on young minds, make them anxious and intense mind activity. So the correct options will be the one that is warms the bond between parents and children, attracts young's mind to the world of books, chance to explore the sea of life. Okay, now next is which word summarizes the importance of books as given in the last paragraph of the passage. So first is A means you can swim all day in the sea of knowledge and still come out completely dry. Most people do. That is written by Norton Juster. And B means sleep is good, he said, and books are better. So these quotes are said by George R. A. Martin. C, if you don't like to read, you haven't found the right books. So this was given by J.K. Rowling. And Demon's books should go where they will be most appreciated and not sit unread, gathering dust on a forgotten shelf. Don't you agree? So this was given by Christopher Bellini. So this is the correct options. D. So select the options that can be concluded from the context. First is youngsters are no longer interested in reading books. Second, the number of bookshops is increasing due to increase in demand of the books. Third, Shakespeare is the most beloved writer among the youngsters. The children's desire logical content. So which option will be the correct ones? Means the true, that is that 1 and 4 1 and 4 1 and 4 are true. Okay, because youngsters are not interested in reading books, and 4 means children's desire logical contents, but 2 and 3 are false. So the correct option will be the C. Now you have to read the passage given below. Second passage, the passenger pigeon, Ectopistes migratorius, was once found in huge numbers in North America. Records tell of passing flocks that darken the skies for several days at a time. The species may have peaked at 5 billion individuals. A more conservative estimate is 3 billion. Second paragraph, within a short time the species disappear completely. Given the huge size of the population, it's simply amazing that the species disappear so quickly. Given the huge, okay, so says Tom Gilbert. Gilbert is a professor at the University of Copenhagen Center for Geogenetics, but he also has a part-time position as an adjunct professor at the Norwegian University of Science and Technology. Third paragraph, the history of the passenger pigeon is interesting partly because it can tell us something about how and why species become extinct. Native Americans also relied on passenger pigeons for food, but at least in parts of the passenger pigeons range, people had learned to harvest the species at a sustainable levels that didn't threaten to eradicate it. It was common in some parts of North America to only eat young pigeons that were hunted at night. Since this did not seem to scare away the adult birds or prevent them from renesting. For this, but starting around 1500, a more aggressive variant of humans came to the continent with the arrival of Europeans. The hunt for passenger pigeons grew and culminated in a massive hunt for the species throughout the 1800s before the species finally collapsed and disappeared. In 2014, a study published in the scientific journal PNAS strongly suggested that humans were simply the final straw in destroying a species that was already vulnerable and headed to oblivion. The cladograms below follows the 2012 DNA study showing the position of the passenger pigeons among its closest relatives. Okay, so first is given macrophagia. This is cuckoo doves. It is known as Rinwardona and Turacona and Columba is all world pigeons. Okay, so name the all world pigeons that will be Columba, and Streptophalia is turtle doves and collared doves, and Patagonas is New World pigeons, Ectopistus is passenger pigeon. The researchers asserted that despite their enormous numbers, the passenger pigeons were already in trouble. The populations of the species varied greatly, similar to lemmings, but over a longer period of time. When the Europeans arrived, the species was already in strong decline. The populations was plummeting long before Europeans arrived, and perhaps Europeans even contributed to a short-term increase in numbers. Okay, the sixth paragraph, studies of the genetic variations of the species using investigative methods called PSMC form the background for these assertions, and now we have to concentrate a bit. The PSMC method can use the information in the genes of a single individual of a species to map the history of the species. Okay, the paragraph 8, you should therefore be able to see how the species developed over many generations and estimate how many individuals there were at any given time, all based on a single genome. Using this method, researchers found that the numbers of passenger pigeons was in free fall even before the arrival of the Europeans. Although the species might not have become extinct, it would have shrunk significantly in any case, maybe to only a few hundred thousand individuals. So, based on your understanding of the basis, answer any 6 out of the 8 questions by choosing the correct option. First is select the correct inference with reference to the following. Records tell of passing flocks that darkens the sky for several days at a time. So means option is the innumerable individual passenger pigeons flock the skies of North America. B is the black pigeons together turn the blue sky dark. C is when the pigeons passed through the skies of North America, the sky was covered with black clouds. D means the pigeons carried bad omens with them, which were visible through the dark sky getting dark. So the correct option will be the A. The innumerable individual passenger pigeons flock the skies of North America. 12. According to Cladograms 2012 DNA study in Figure 1, the species that was famous among all world pigeons were first option is rainwort tona, B means Columba, C means Patagona, D means Turacona. So the correct option will be the B, Columba. Third, next question is choose the correct cause and effect relationships from the given options. Now, cause given the hunt for this is the option A. Cause the hunt for passengers pigeons grew and culminated in a massive hunt for the species throughout the 1800s. Effect the species finally collapsed and disappeared. Option B means cause the history of the passenger pigeon is interesting. It can tell us something about how and why species become extinct. Siemens cause the PSMC method can use the information in the genes of the single individual species, epic mapping the history of the species. The cause studies of the genetics variation of the species is using an investigative method called PSMC effect. It forms the background for those assertions. So the correct option will be the A. That is cause the hunt for passenger pigeons grew and culminated in a massive hunt for the species throughout the 1800s. Affects the species finally collapses and disappears. Next is the 14 questions. Select the central messages in paragraph 2 according to Tom Gilbert study about passenger pigeon. So it concludes that option A is simply astonishing that the species found in large number disappears so quickly. B means it's pathetic that passenger pigeons were disliked by Europeans. C means it's incredible that the species flourished quickly. D means it's unbelievable that the species suddenly migrated. So the correct option will be the A. That is, it's simply astonishing that the species found in large number disappears so quickly. Next question. Based on your reading of paragraph 3, select the appropriate counter arguments to the given arguments. Argument. The North Americans ate young pigeons that were hunted at night. Since this did not seem to scare away the adult birds or prevent them from renesting. So A will be I think the North Americans could have eaten the birds at day 2 as it wouldn't make any difference. B. I don't think that eating young birds at night would not scare the adult bird. After all, they can sense fear, and it is just an assumption of the North American. See, I feel that hunting adult birds could have been better because the young birds wouldn't have been able to judge the scene. I don't feel that what North Americans did was right. So the correct options will be the B. I don't think that eating young birds at night wouldn't scare the adult birds. After all, they can sense fear and it is just an assumption of the North Americans. So next question, the phrase the population was plummeting long before Europeans arrived refers to A. The numbers of migrating passenger pigeons was decreasing slowly. There was a rapid decrease in the population of passenger pigeons. C. The species of passenger pigeons were extinct. D. There was a rapid increase in the population of passenger pigeons. So the correct options will be B. there was a rapid decrease in the population of passenger pigeons. Next question. Based on the reading of the passage, choose the fact that researchers found find about the numbers of passenger pigeons. A, its number started deteriorating with the arrival of Europeans. B means it was in free fall even before the arrival of Europeans. C means it becomes extinct after the arrival of Europeans. D means its species began to multiply with the arrival of Europeans. So the correct options will be the B. It was in free fall even before the arrival of the Europeans. Next is read the two statements given below and select the option that explain them. So first is PSMC method uses the information in the genes of single individual of a species. Then two means it is important to map the history of the species to know more to more. So that the correct option will be the two is research. Okay, um, that will be the D, because two is the research through one. Two is it is important to map the history of the species to know more. To know more through which? Through PMC method. Okay, it helps method uses information in the genes of single individuals. So the correct option will be the D. Third, writing sessions. So this is the third. Answer any 4 out of the 5 questions given with reference to context below. Deepak Kumar, the police commissioner of Kanpur, wants to write a notice advising the residents to drive carefully and use fog lights to prevent accidents. So select the appropriate title for the notice. The appropriate title you have to select. First option given the dense fog. B means traffic advisory. C means prevent accidents. D means vigilant on roads. So the correct options will be the B. Traffic advisory will be the appropriate title. Next question, select the option that lists the most accurate openings for this notice. First is A option is greeting and attention please to one and all. B means this notice is written to share some news with you all about. C means this is to notify that in view of, and D means I wish to share this notice that. So the answer will be this is to notify that in view of. That will C. 21. Select options with the informations points to be included in the body of the notice. So the first one is given opinion about the weathers, two given resolution for accident due to fog, third is reasons for the fog, four means important of fog lights for vehicles, and five means complaint against without fog lights. So the option A is given 2 and 4, and option B is given 1 3 5, and option C is given 3 5, option D is given 2 and 3. So that will be the correct option will be A, that is resolution for accident due to fog, and 4 means important of fog light for vehicle. That will be option A. Next question, what is the purpose of writing this notice? A means to threaten people, B means to praise people, C means to demand people, D means to warn people. So the correct option will be the D, to warn people. 23 questions. Select the appropriate conclusion for this notice. A means stay safe, B means don't panic, C means damn humbles, D means inconvenience regretted. So the most appropriate will be the A, stay safe. Next is 4. Answer any 6 of the 7 questions given with reference to the context below. You are Megha, a resident of Lodi Road, New Delhi. You have to write letters to the editors bringing the issue of daylight robbery in your neighborhood into the view of concerned authorities. The question will be choose the correct start for the letter. How you will choose the first start? How you'll start it? First is A, please look at the daylight robbery in our area. B means throw the columns of your esteemed newspaper. I want to draw your kind attention towards the daylight robbery in our area. Siemens with your newspaper, I want to open the eyes of the concerned authorities to the daylight robbery of the area. Demons, I want to complain about the daylight robbery. So the correct option, the most appropriate how you start will be the B. Draw the column of your esteemed newspaper. I want to draw your kind attention towards the daylight robbery in area. That will be the most appropriate, and every time you have to start draw the column of your esteemed newspaper. So the answer will be the B. And next, pick the correct tone in which the letters to the editor shall be ended. I hope that the concerned authorities may look into the matter at the earliest. A. Option A, friendly and warm. B means cool and polite. C means polite and formal. And D means rude and strict. So the most appropriate, the correct one, correct tune will be the C, polite and formal. So next question, choose the correct options for the following. Dash needs to take strict actions against the daylight robberies. So what this? You have that will be subject, and you'll write need to take strict actions against the daylight robberies. Next question, choose the option that shows what the letter to the editor would not do for Mega. First is A is given bring changes in conditions. B means take action against the issue. C make her area safer to live. D means getting a reward for her bringing it to the notice concerned authorities. So that will be D, getting a reward for her to bring it to the notice of concerned authorities. Okay. 28 questions. Writing a letter to the editor will help Mega to dash. The option A is ban out her frustration, and second point is demean the police department. Option B means look superior than other locals. Second point means come out as a brave girl. Option C, remove under-serving policemen from their job, and second point is get higher instead. Option D means solve the robbery issue in the area by highlighting it in a newspaper. Make the area safe for people. So the correct option will be the D. Next question. Mega shares some suggestions in her letter to address the issue. Select the option that helps her complete these suggestions appropriately. Most of these problems will be dealt if dash at the colony entrance. So what dash? It will be so kind if the concerned authorities could provide at least two policemen to look around the area during the morning and evening hours. So the first option is security guards are posted. B means arms are provided to the gatekeeper. C means restriction is made. D means there is a lock. So the correct and appropriate ones will be the security guards are posted. Next, which of the following approach is most appropriate for drafting a letter on the above subject? Okay, first option is given A option, suggesting improvement methods, introducing problem faced by people, conclusion. B means introducing problem faced by people's, suggesting improvement methods, conclusion. C means suggesting improvement methods, conclusion, introducing problem faced by people's. D means conclusion, introducing problem faced by people, suggesting improvement methods. So the most appropriate will be this B, because first you have to introduce the problem faced by people, then you have to suggest some improvement methods, then conclusion. Literature, this sections has subsections, that is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are of total 30 questions in the section. Atom any 26 question from the subsection, that is 5 to 9. The 5 will be read a given extract to atom question that follow. Poor man, it was in honor of this last lesson that he had put on his fine Sunday clothes. And now I understood why the old man of the village were sitting there in the back of the room. It was because they were sorry to that they had not gone to school more. It was their way of thanking our master for his 40 years of faithful service and of showing the respect for the country that was theirs no more. Okay, the first question will be the narrator referred to Mr. Hamill as poor man because he, option A, emphasized with Mr. Hamill as he had to leave the village. Believed that Mr. Hamill finds Sunday clothes clearly reflected that he was not rich. Siemens felt sorry for Mr. Hamill as it was his last translation. Siemens thought Mr. Hamill's patriotism and sense of duty resulted in his poverty. So the most appropriate and the correct ones will be the C. Felt sorry for Mr. Hamill as it was his last French lesson. Okay. Now, next question. Choose the correct idiom that describe the villagers' act of attending the last lesson most accurately. Okay, so first is option is given too good to miss. B is too little, too late. C means too many cooks spoil the broth. D means too cold for school. So the correct options will be the B, too little, too late. Next, choose the option that might raise a question about Mr. Hamill's faithful service. Okay, option A, when Franz came late, Mr. Hamill told him that he was about to begin class without him. And B means Franz mentioned how cranky Mr. Hamill was and his great ruler rapping on the tables. Okay, Mr. Hamill's often sent students to water his flowers and gave a holiday when he wanted to go fishing. D means Mr. Hamill's permitted villagers put their children to work on a farm or at the mills for some extra money. So the correct options will be the Mr. Hamill means which has against Mr. Hamill, that will Mr. Hamill permitted. So that will be Mr. Hamill's often sent student to water his flowers and gave a holiday when he wanted to go fishing. So the correct answer will be the C. Next question, select the option that most appropriately fills in the blanks for the following descriptions of the given extract. Okay, so the villagers and their children sat in class, working with their old masters. One, for togetherness, means dash togetherness. In that moment, the classroom stood. Second dash, it was French itself, and the last lesson a desperate hope to third means dash to the remnants of what they had known and taken for granted, their own for dash. Okay, so first is graceful, means option A. First is graceful, second is still, third is hang on, fourth is country. Option B, first is bygone, second is off, third is give on, fourth is education. C option 1 or C option C. This is option C. First is beautiful, second is mesmerize, third is carry on, and fourth is unity. And D, first option is forgotten, and second is transform, third is hold on, and fourth is identity. So the correct option will be the D, that is forgotten, transform, hold on, identity. That will be the villagers and the children sat in class, working with their old master and forgotten togetherness. In that moment the classroom stood transformed. It was French itself and last translation and desperate hope to hold on to the remnants of what they had known and taken for granted, their own identity. So next question, identify the pleasure emotion from the extract, that is regret. That is option A means happiness, option B means desperation, option C means depression, option D means regret. So the option will be the D, that is regret. Now read the given extract to attempt question that follow. So I will learn a drive car. He answers, looking straight into my eyes. His dreams looks like a mirage amidst the dust of street that fill his own Firozabad, famous for its bangles. Every other family in Firozabad is engaged in making bangles. It is the center of India glass blowing industry where families have spent generations working around furnaces, welding glass, making bangles for all the women in the land, it seems. Mukesh family is among them. None of them know that it is illegal for children like him to work in the glass furnaces with high temperatures in dingy cells without air and light, that the law, if enforced, could get him and all those 20,000 children out of hot furnaces were just locked their daylight hours, often losing the brightness of their eye. Mukesh eye beam as he volunteers to take me home, which he proudly says is being revealed. Okay, so question will be the phrase dream looks like a mirage amidst the dust of streets signifies that first option his dreams was reality yet seem a distance. B options his dream was lost in the sea of dust. C means his dream was illusionary and indistinct. D means his dream was hanging in the dusty air. So the correct option will be the C. His dream was illusionary and distinct. Next questions. Identify the emotion of Mukesh from Friends. I will learn to drive a car. The first is one number arrogance, B hopeful, three sad, four ambitious, five sneaky. So option A 1 and 5, option B 2 and 4, option C 2 and 5, option D 3 and 6. Okay, so the correct options will be B. That is the correct answer. 2 and 4. 2 and 4 means that will be the hopeful and ambitious. Then which of the following statement is not true with reference to the extract? There is a children's work in badly lit and poorly ventilated furnaces. B. The children are unaware that it is forbidden by law to work in the furnaces. Siemens children toil in the furnaces for hours, which affect their eyesight. Siemens Firozabad has emerged as a nascent producer of bangles in the country. So the which is not true, they are asking. So which is not true? That is D is not true. Okay, so next 39th question. Every other family in Firozabad is engaged in making bangles. What does this line highlight? First is bangle making is the only industry that flourishes in Firozabad. B option means the entire population of Firozabad is involved in bangle making. C means majority of the population in Firozabad is involved in bangle making. D means bangle making is the most loved occupation in Firozabad. Okay, so you can say majority of the population in Firozabad is involved in bangle making. So the correct option will be the C. Next question. Mukesh eyes beam as he volunteers to take me home. To take me home, this indicates that Mukesh was first is A means happy, B means sad, C means gloomy, and D means dreamy. When Mukesh wants to take the authors to his home, so that time he was happy. So the correct option will be the A, happy. Next, 7. Read the given extract to attempts questions that follow. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother's beside me. Dodge open mouth, her face as shin lighted with corpse and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked, but soon put that thought away. So for which of the following options best applies to the given extract? So A is a conversation, B is an argument. No, it is the number. A is one number is a conversation. Second is an argument. Third is a piece of advice. Four means a strategy. Five means a recollection. Six means a suggestion. So option A given 1 through 6. Option B given 2, 4, 5. Option C given only 5. Option D is only 1. So that will be option C. That is only 5. A recollection, because the poet tells only his incidents, right? So that will be recollections. For next question is 42. Select a book title that perfectly describe the condition of the poet's matter. Title 1, Your Only Old Ones by Dr. Seuss. Title 2, The Gift of Years by John Sittister. And title 3, Somewhere Towards the End by Dinah Attil. Title 4, The Books You Wish Your Parents Had Wrote Read by Philippa Perry. That is A means A title 1, B means title 2, C means title 3, D means title 4. So the correct options will be the title 2. That is B. The Gift of Years by John Chichester. So next question, choose the option that applies correctly to the statements given below. Assertion: the poet's words of the thoughts of her mother getting old quickly. So reason: the poet did not want to confront the inevitability of fate that was to dawn upon her mother. So A means assertion can be inferred but reason cannot be inferred. B means assertion cannot be inferred but the reasons can be inferred. C means both assertion and reason can be inferred. D means both assertion and reason cannot be inferred. So the correct options will be the C, that is as both assertion and reason can be inferred. Next, choose the option that displays the same literary device as in the given line of the extract. Her face ashen like that of a corpse. A means just as I had this thought she appeared in. B means my thoughts were as heavy as lead that evening when. C means I think that everyone else would. D means I like to think aloud then. So the correct option will be next, her face ashen like a corpse. The phrase here means there was a ashes of smoke on her face. B means her face was full of dirt and dust. C means her face was lifeless and dull like that of a dead person. D means the wrinkles on her face made her look ashen. Okay, so that will be C, that is her face was lifeless and dull like that of a dead person. So that number with the C, correct option will be the C. Next, 7. Read the given extract to Atom's questions that follow. He was very light, like a fowl that had been half starved for a long time until it is only feathers and skeleton. His arms hanging. They carried him up the steps and into the side door of the house. This door opened into a passage, and down the passage they carried the man towards an empty bedroom. It had been the bedroom of Sadov's father, and since his death it has not been used. They laid the man on the deeply metal floor. Everything here had been Japanese to please the old man, who would never in his own home sit on a chair or sleep in a foreign bed. Hannah went to the wall cupboards and slid back a door and took out a soft quilt. She hesitated. The quilt was covered with flowered silk and the lining was pure white silk. So the question will be: the description of Sadov's father in the extract demonstrated that he was option A witty, option B modern, option C traditional, option D wacky. So the correct option will be the C, traditional. Next, she hesitated means that Hannah, option A, didn't want to carry the shoulder as he had a limb in his leg. B, didn't want to use her silk as he was tear gas. C, didn't want to use her white silk as the shoulder was bleeding. They didn't like to share her stuff. So the correct option will be the C, didn't want to use her white silk as the shoulder was bleeding. Next, his arms hanging indicated the state of the shoulders. Pick the option that correctly tells his state. 1 means unconscious, 2 means weak, 3 means strong, 4 means rebellious, or 5 means calm, 6 means conscious. Okay. So A means 1 and 2. 1 and 2 means so unconscious and weak, and B means 1 and 3. 1 and 3, and C means 5 and 6, 4 means 4 and 5, or D means 4 and 5. So that I think that the options will be A, that is 1 and 2. His arm hanging indicated the state of the shoulders. Okay, so is unconscious and weak. So next, they avoided bringing the person home as he was a foreigner's white enemy. B means enemy, shoulder Japanese. C means Japanese, shoulder friends. D means foreigners, friend bleeding. Because they avoided the person because he was a foreigner, he was white as their enemy. Okay, so the correct option will be the A. Select the option that displays the cause affected. A means cause. Hannah didn't want to use her beloved quilt for the American shoulder effect. She hesitated while taking it out. B option, cause. She hesitated while taking out quilt effect. Hannah didn't want to use her beloved quilt for an American shoulder. C. Cause. Sarah's fathers were traditional men. Effect. He liked modern furniture in the house. Cause. He was not a true patriot. This is option D. Effect. Saddles was ready to trade the enemy. So the correct options will be the A, that is cause. Hannah didn't want to use her beloved quilt for the American shoulder. Effect. She hesitated while taking it out. Attempt the following. When Mr. Hamel addressed Franz saying, I have plenty of time, I'll learn. What does this imply? So, self A means self-realizations, B means astonishment, C means lethargic responsibilities, B means evading responsibilities. So that will be A option. The correct option will be the A, self-realization. Next, which of the following profession is prevalent in Simapuri? Option A is bangle making, option B means iron making, option C means rag picking, option D means pickpocketing. So rag picking is the professions prevalent in Simapuri. 53 questions. Hi Skinny, how would you like to be dubbed? This line shows that the speaker was a option A trainer, option B burly, option C teacher, option D swimmer, option B burly. Next, the poetic devices in the line one pale as a late winter moon is option A is hyperbole, option B means irony, option C means simile, option D means metaphor. So that will be option C, simile, because the poet is comparing is, so option will be C, simile. Next, the children's faces is compared to rootless weights. This means they are dash. A means insecure, B means ill-fed, C means waters, D means dumb. So that will be the B, ill-fed. Next, Dr. Sadao decided to help the men irrespective of, that is A, not knowing the cure, the fear of being caught, B, an American patriot, being a patriot. So the correct options will be the C, that is the fear of being caught. Next, which of the following option does the poet not mean when he talks about keeping quiet? So A means total inactivity, B means contemplating, C means self introspections, and D means being calm. So the options will be the A, total inactivity. Next, identify the tone of Kamala Das in the following line. I saw my mother besides me, Dodge, open mouth. Option A, elated and excited. Option B, heartbroken and despair. Option C, scared and anxious. Option D, serene and satisfied. Option B, heartbroken and despair.